Hello, this is Randy Haar with Owens Community College. This is a lecture for MET150 Intro to Industrial Robotics for Chapter 13, the Edit command. And just a little review before we start. For the Select command, remember the Select command works on an entire program in memory. Again, we use it the Select command to things like copy programs. Essentially, might make a copy of it, a backup. May want to base out another one. So from the Select menu, go to the program you want, find the copy instruction, and it'll ask you for the new name. Another one that we use a lot is delete. Similar thing, move the program you want, scroll to delete, select that, and that will now get rid of the program out of memory. Remember, if that program is already running or it's paused, you may see an error, so you may have to do a function abort there. If you want to rename, use the select key. Scroll the program you want, find the detail button, maybe on the second page, and from that you'll go to essentially the detail screen, the same one that you saw when you created your program. Scroll to the name and you can edit a new name. As I mentioned, you have to do abort all, so function abort all. Again, you cannot delete a program until it's considered paused. So this chapter, we're going to talk about different editing commands, and we'll go over these in more detail in a moment. But the edit command, EDCMD, short for edit command, up pops your edit messages. So here are the ones we're going to talk about. Insert. Insert will insert a blank line to the program. Okay, when you're adding instructions to the program, it will typically overwrite program lines that are already existing. The only time it doesn't do it is if you're at the end line of a program, it will append, but otherwise you want to make sure you have blank lines. Delete will remove one or more lines. Copy, cut, and paste. Similar to what you do in a word processor, either copy a section or cut a section and then able to paste it into that same program or another program. Find lets you search for a next instance of instruction. Replace lets you do a search and replace of sort of a limited quantity section that you have in that. Renumber renumbers positions in your program, not PRs, not position registers. Comment hides those comments from other tables. Undo lets you do one undo, only the last edit only. Remark will let you mask out instructions of the program. And color and IO status. Color turns the color programs on, which we have red, green, and yellow, and IO status allows that status to be displayed or not displayed. So edit command, EDCMD. So if you're in the icon editor, when you do edit command, it will have your instructions will come up. You want to get out of the icon editor, press exit icon. Again, edit command, EDCMD. There are your instructions. If you want to go into the icon editor, there's how to go back into the icon editor. So we're going to talk about standard editor, which we call this sort of the standard editor or the icon editor. Icon editor is not really well described in the manual, like not at all. So some people like the icon editor, some people don't like the icon editor. Main thing is to make sure you use which one works best for you. And then you know how to get into and out of it. So if somebody leaves it in the icon editor or the standard editor and you want to change, you should be able to do that. Now, older systems may not have the icon editor, so it's good to know how to do it sort of the old way. So in icon editor, press icon editor, and here's your icon editor. All right, so we're going to show you how to do it in both icon and standard editor for most of these. So adding blank lines. If you're in the icon editor, EDCMD, or press the edit command, either will get you into that. And from there we have insert, and what insert will do will take you whichever line you're on, it will insert lines above that one. So here we're going to basically move line 3 through 9 down and insert more lines. Insert, how many lines do you want to insert? We're going to say 2, and now I have 2 blank lines, and now I can add other commands in here. Deleting lines, again, EDCMD or edit command. Move to where you want to start, press the delete button. And now one of the things that not everybody remembers is you can select a range. So select a range, and now I'm going to say yes to delete it, no will cancel, delete it, they're gone. From the normal editor, scroll to where you want your insert to be and press Edit Command Insert. So let's do a demo here. We're going to want to put lines above line 3 here. Edit Command. Oop. Want to insert 4 lines. Boom, I insert 4 lines. All right. Delete. Again, move to where I want to delete lines and do the ED, CMD, and delete. So demo that and move to line 3. Edit Command, move down to delete, select it, select the lines, scroll down, say yes, I want to delete, no to cancel, and now those are deleted. So a lot of this chapter really talks about how to do the copy, cut, and paste. Again, just like a word processor, copy copies a sections of line, puts them into your paste buffer, cut deletes a section of line, puts them into your paste buffer, and then paste takes those lines out of the paste buffers and copies those into whichever program you're at now. The thing we have though is we have 8 different ways of pasting. So we get into those, but again, you may say why? Well, some of these will become obvious, some other ones are be pretty situational for when you use them. So move to the line you want to start with, Edit Command, go to Copy, Cut. So Edit Command, say we want to copy the first 3 lines, Edit Command, scroll down to the lines you want, select, now say Copy, and now that they're selected, I'm going to move down to the end of the program, I'm going to say Paste. Again, this is where we have our 3 forward, 5 reverse ways you want to do this. We're going to pick Pause ID, and now those lines, we remember copied lines 1, 2, and 3 are pasted in before. One of the important things here is once you're in the copy paste, to get out of this, you want to press the previous button. All right. So the types we have. So we have logic is the first one. So in logic, it will take your program and whatever you have and copy it and paste it with the positions all blank. All right, so position numbers are blank. So you would use this in case this is the right logic you have, but you know the positions have no relationship. So you just don't even want to bother. I just want to clear out those for where I'm going to paste it at. And that, again, we'll do it in the original program or second program. The next one is Pause ID or Position and ID. This will copy these lines. So we've copied lines 1 through 6. And I go to the pasted program and I paste it. It is going to paste exactly what is here. Now remember, positions are local variables. So that means P1, and say if you have a program called pick, P1 is the same in pick. But if you have pick and place, 2 different programs, P1 on pick is no relation to P2 in place, or P1 in place. So because of that, if you go to a separate program, you're not really sure where these might be. So Pause ID is generally used only when you're pasting inside the same program. Next one is position. So in position, it takes the program you copy, and now it will take all those positions and copy them and give them whatever the next available numbers are. In this case, the same program, it would be 5, 6, 7, 8, but P1 is exactly the same as P5. The XYZ, yaw, pitch, roll are the same. If you copy into a different program, it's again going to use whatever position numbers are there, but it will paste those positions values exactly the same. So very good for when you're going to a second program. All right, so reverse. So first reverse is reverse logic. It takes and says, say, takes P1 through P4 with call home, and now just reverses all the instructions, but because it's logic, your position numbers are reversed. Reverse and position ID, same thing, reverses as a position ID. So P1 stays P1, first line becomes the last line becomes the first line. So again, because it's position ID, best inside the same program. And then reverse position means you take it and you P1 becomes P5. It's exactly the same XYZs, all pitch roll, but the first line becomes the last. Now you may be asking, why do we spend so much time on reverse? Well, there are some times where you may want to reverse an instruction. Say I have a complicated motion to go into a very tight area. I want to reverse that motion to come out. Those are the sort of times where you're going to use it. Again, it's a fairly situational, but it's the sort of thing that if you need it, it's useful. If you don't need it, then it's not useful. Again, but if you don't have the tool, you won't use it in your toolbox. But you may start thinking about these reverses and say, why don't I need anything else? Well, there is an issue with just reversing that, and that is you don't always get the path you want. So we have RM path ID and RM pause. So these are trying to get it so that your path is the same. Your speed, your termination type, linear versus joint, all that. So RMs will give you the same path in and out. Okay, so let's do an example of that. So if I take the normal system and I take P1, P2, P3, P4 in my program and I paste it and copy it as reverse pause ID, what's going to happen is when it comes back here, you see from P2 to P3 is linear. Say I want this to be a linear path. Well, when I copy it, the move to P2 was a joint move. The move to P2 is a joint move. Now this will have some sort of arcing when it moves from P3 to P2. Not what I want. Also, the speeds are not what I necessarily want. So if I do an RM or reverse motion, now it will take that move to P2 and say, while I'm moving to P2, from P2 rather to P3, I want that to be a linear move, and I want it to be 40 millimeters per second. It will say now, here takes that speed from line 3 and moves it down to your P2 move. All right. Generally, terminations stay with the points. If you want to be fine or continuous at points, it assumes you want the same thing going forward or backwards, but it's looking at this path and saying reversing that path. So generally, if you want to do reverse and you want to keep the same motion, you're going to use the RMs, not just the R. So RM or reverse motion pause ID, chase all the instructions in reverse order, and then motion instructions will now be jumbled up a little bit so that let's say P2 here was 500 millimeters per second. Well, now that becomes your initial move down here. So again, it takes it and replaces it, and it does a pretty good job to reverse as needed. All right, and then pause is the short for position. So now here you update your position numbers with, again, you can use this outside of a program, but now P1 becomes P5, P2 becomes P6, and so forth. So one of the things on the copy and paste is once you have copied a range of instruction, it stays in your paste buffer until you override that paste buffer. All right, so unless you power down the machine or you do a new copy or cut, those lines are going to stay in your buffer memory. So if you need to copy them 10 times, you can copy them. And then remember, RM or reverse motion pause ID and RM pause are trying to keep your motion paths the same. So it won't look exactly the same, but it will keep the path proper. All right, so how does this work in a program? So let's look at the icon editor first. So edit command, go to copy, cut, move to where you want and press the select button. And now scroll down and select your range, and we're going to say copy. And now we're going to move to where we want. And I'm going to go to the end, I'm going to say paste. And again, so you have your 3 forward, logic, pause ID, and position. All right, and if you do next, you'll have your reverse ones, reverse logic, reverse pause ID, reverse motion pause ID, reverse motion, and reverse motion position. Again, we're going to pick reverse motion pause ID, and now we'll paste those in. Now, replace command, again, lets you replace select items here. So go to the top of your program, select replace, and now it gives you an option here for what do I want to replace. Again, we have registers, modify your motion, IO, jump label, call, or time before. So let's say you've done some electrical change and your IO is all changed. Now IO 101 has to be written as is now IO 107. And rather than try to through and find each one individually, you can say change them all in program. Also, we're going to talk just about modifying the motion onto this, and it kind of guides you through, but it's kind of an elaborate steps for here. So edit command, replace, and say I'm going to replace the joint speeds to 50%. So I see joint speeds here 100%, 50%, 100%. I want to make them all be 50. So replace, select motion, modify, replace speed. And again, I want all, or I just want linear or joints. I'm going to say all joints and all speed values, or do I want just register values? We're going to say all types. And then my termination type, we're going to speed values. We're going to say percentage, my destination unit, and we're going to enter in a number. So I'm going to want my new to be 50%. It's now going to search through. Now as it finds the first one, it gives the option to say do all of them, all the rest in the program. Yes for this one, and move on to the next one. Move on to the next one, and don't change the current one, or exit, which means stop here. So we're going to say all, and now it has changed all of my joint speeds to 50%. Okay, renumber. We'll renumber your positions, not your position registers in a program. Excuse me. So move to the top of the program, say renumber, and it'll say, do you want to do that? And it will renumber all your P's, not your PRs. Again, it doesn't change anything other than what's being displayed. Your positions don't do. The program's going to be the same. So here in our program, we have P1, P2, P4, P7. Say I've deleted P3 and P5 and P6. I put them in, but I didn't need them. And the last one goes back to P2. So change the positions, not your PR numbers. So go to renumber. Come here, say yes. And now it's now 1, 2, 3, 5. This is exactly the same motion as you would have had before. So position registers, because remember, positions are local to your one program. Position registers are global, so it can't really change those because it doesn't know what other programs they might be in. From the icon editor, edit command. All right, say renumber. So look at those three we have here. Oh, sorry, renumber, and now it takes those and it renumbers all those sequentially. Okay. And again, why would you want to do that? Well, it's more of a cleanup after you've worked in a program for a while. You just want it to sort of clean up. Next is comments. So comments will be comments appear or disappear. And these are comments, or you may think of them as names of things, but it's only things that occur in other tables, not things that you are associated with your program. So position names do not disappear, but other things can. So here, positions P1, P2 are shown, have been given names or remarks. Position register 5 and digital output 1 also have comments in it. So if I turn comments on and off, they now disappear or reappear. And again, it's a toggle. Again, edit command, comment on and off. All right. So say the laser here, comments are on, turn it off. Again, it just makes things a little smaller when you do that. Undo. It lets you undo your last edit that you have to do. So you do that, you just anywhere in your program, do edit command, go down to the undo and do it. It will say, do you want to undo the last one? And it'll tell you in parentheses what that last edit was, and there was an edit on the line. Excuse me again. So here I come in here and I delete a line, and I say, oh, did I want to delete that line? So edit command, undo, and I said, do you want to do that line? Boom, I've undeleted the line. Icon editor, edit command, go to undo, and it'll say undo the renumber that I did. Yes, it will undo that. So again, it's single level, one time, so touch up or modify a motion instruction. So if you change a motion instruction through a touch up or other thing, it will do that. Again, overwriting a line with a new line, inserting, deleting, copy an operation, paste operation, replace, renumbering, and an undo of an undo is a redo. What that means is if I delete a line and I undo that line, undo that delete, it will put that line back. If I undo that again, it will basically redo that delete line. And if you have multiple changes on a line of program that you made them before you left that line, it will consider that to be one change. What can it do? Anything to do with palletizing. And again, we don't talk about palletizing this course, so nothing to do with that, or line tracking, which you also don't touch, or online touch-ups, which we don't really discuss. It also won't work with background editing, which we don't cover in this course. If your program is write protected, it won't undo that. If you've deleted the program, it will not do an entire program delete, and that would be one from the select menu. And if you get really tight on memory, this is one of the things that will stop first. Also, if you've had a power failure or you've turned it off, you load a new program entirely, or you've done a program adjust, any of those will not work with an undo. Okay, remark. Now this is the different remark, but again, this will disable a line from functioning in a program without deleting them. All right, so again, it's not the same as the remark, which has that exclamation point and the yellow text onto it. So just move to where you want, select remark, you'll have double slashes into it, and what happens now is that line is treated essentially as a blank line when you run a program. So let's look. So here are 3 lines that have been remarked. All right, so to do that, you want to remark, in this case, we'll do line 7, which is turning an output on. I remark it. Now when it comes to that line in the program, it will treat it just as a blank line. It will not happen. I go back there to unremark it and unremark it, and now there's double slash, and now it will operate fully. Icon editor, move to the line you want to start with. Go to the second page, say remark. Scroll down the lines you want, say remark. Done. Again, why would I want to do this? Well, again, I just want to temporarily not do those lines. Maybe it's an IO and I don't want that IO command to go out. Maybe I just want to see how something works without, if I would delete a line before I actually delete it, times like that. Okay, color. So in your normal program, if color is turned on, you have yellow for your other remarks, which is information lines, and you have red and green for on and off. Again, we know red and green are actually pretty bad colors for people that have, any color blindness issues, which is, I guess, why we use them all the time. If you don't want to see that, go to icon editor or go to the color. So here, edit command, next, color. Now color is back on. So again, sometimes you get onto one and it's like, why isn't there color on? You can turn it back on and off as you desire. And the last one is IO status, and this is not available in the icon editor, just the standard editor. So if we look at line 7, it says D out 101 equals on. If I do IO status on, it will now tell me that what is the current status of that IO. So again, some people get confused because it says D output 101 off equals on. What that line is really telling you is it is currently off. And when you get there, if you run that line, it would now change to the status, which would be on. All right. So also there's full instructions are in the icon editor. So you can use it for putting other things, not just editing for regular normal instruction. So, quick chapter review. Which type of pasting will paste the motion in order and renumber the position IDs on the first available position ID? So, in order means it's forward. First available position IDs means it's going to be position. Which type of pasting will redistribute motion? So that's an R. So the pass, maintain, and reverse. So redistribute motion is a M. So reverse and maintain is RM, and maintain position is ID. So we know it's an RM, and we know it's position IDs. If you want to change all fine terminations to continuous, you would do a replace. And again, didn't mention this, but if a line is remarked, it was in the notes, I didn't think I mentioned it, you cannot edit that line. Okay, so the lab for this chapter is you're going to start out with create a simple program. Laser on, just having the laser do something that's roughly a square. Don't make it too big, but we're going to copy and paste this multiple times. So joint 1, joint 2, a wait instruction. Point 1, point 2, wait instruction, again, point 3, point 4, back to 1 again. See, some are joint moves, some are linear moves, and then you're going to copy and paste it and see the different effects for that. So that's the end of this chapter. Hopefully that helps a little.